There being 19 ayes and 12 nays, school choice has come to Texas.
A vote in the Texas Senate means families are one step closer to being able to use tax dollars to pay for their children's private education.
We're looking out for kids that need help the most and to make sure their families, they make the decisions on the path and education that's best for them.
Legislation to create education savings accounts heads to the governor. We speak to the senator behind the bill, how he's responding to concerns, and what changes could still happen. Texas Democrats pushing back after the vote on ESAs, the tactic that's blocking votes on key legislation, and how it could put bipartisan priorities in jeopardy. As lawmakers' plans for ESAs move forward, some private schools tell us they won't be able to take every student applying for the opportunity. We investigate what that means for families.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. The Education Savings Account bill is now in the hands of Governor Greg Abbott. The Texas Senate concurred with changes made by the House to Senate Bill 2. This week, we're taking an in-depth look as Texas families move closer to being able to use tax dollars for their children's private education.
There being 19 ayes and 12 nays, school choice has come to Texas.
With Thursday's vote, the Senate agreed to take the House's changes on Senate Bill 2, avoiding a prolonged battle to reconcile differences between the two chambers' versions of the bill. But members on both sides of the aisle raised concerns. Lubbock Republican Charles Perry worried about the potential of online-only schools getting ESA funds.
I think we've all understood what online instruction is and is not, and it's not the answer to educate 99.9% of the kids.
Also during debate, Democrats pleaded with their colleagues to reinstate a provision preventing current lawmakers from taking advantage of the program, which the House took out.
We asked for a bill that wasn't about self-dealing. We asked for a bill that wasn't about helping our children. We asked for a bill that didn't have the stain of that possible corruption.
The bill's author, Senator Creighton, hinted the so-called self-dealing clause could be addressed later in a separate bill, but he underscored the importance of moving the legislation forward.
They will one day understand how they came to receive an opportunity that they never even knew didn't exist prior to their receipt of it. And one day, long down the road, when they are adults and they have a family of their own, they're going to be thankful to each of you.
Once Governor Abbott signs the bill, the rollout will start to get the program established for the 2026-27 school year. We want to go a little deeper now. Joining us is Senator Creighton, the author of Senate Bill 2. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you for being here. I know it's been a busy week, but before the vote to concur, we heard concerns from both sides of the aisle, like things like online schools, children of lawmakers receiving ESA benefits. In some cases, you said that you have been open to legislation to address those concerns. Why not try to do that in SB 2 itself instead of coming back with other legislation?
Yeah, you know, we've got a strong framework of supports for the students that need help the most, and that's always been the goal and the objective for the design of the ESA itself. And as many states have done all over the nation, as 2/3 of the country have adopted expanded school choice, we're following the same pattern, that the bones of the program itself and the goals within it, we feel very comfortable where we've landed on these.
So are you saying that at some point in the future, whether it's this session or maybe next session, there is the chance that the ESA program could be revisited?
Certainly. I mean, we had a great discussion yesterday, Senator Perry from Lubbock and I, as you mentioned, related to online schools and online learning, and he had concerns that there might be an uptick in the number of students that would fall into those categories, and ultimately, you know, we want students in-person learning to the greatest extent that we possibly can, but online learning is also very important as well. We have students that have been victims of human trafficking, that have been victims of bullying, that have survived fentanyl, that have a certain special needs where those online learning opportunities are important, and they're included in the legislation.
Since we're talking about oversight and transparency there, you know, overall, the ESA program, How are you going to go back next session and make sure that what we've seen in the 2 years prior is actually working?
Sure, it's a great question. The one thing that is important and what we've seen from data across the nation is for a new school choice plan like Texas will have, we need to build an appropriate runway with the right kind of supports and the framework to truly help the families with a successful launch. So our opportunities within Senate Bill 2 for our families across the state, that will start in 26 and 27 to make sure that there's appropriate time for the comptroller to build this program. And so we'll be back in session in January of 27 to make any needed adjustments or calibrations, as we always do with any bill that we pass.
And that could include some oversight of how everything is going.
Certainly could. There's great oversight in the legislation now, but there will always be on the finance side or the technology side some type of adjustment that we'll need to make with the feedback that we receive, and that's what the legislature does. We monitor the bills that we pass. We're reviewing 10,000 bills now. We'll pass about 1,000 of them, and for those bills that pass related to education or the grid or the border, healthcare, whatever those bills may be, we're always coming back in to monitor the need for adjustments.
So you've got this down, obviously, because you've been fighting for this for well over a decade in the legislature. What does this final vote for final passage mean to you?
It means so much to me because it's somewhat tragic that a narrative has been built that you can't support your public schools and public school teachers and all the students that rely on public schools, and also build a framework for additional options for kids that need help the most. The bill being called a scam or a rich kid bill and all of those false narratives, we know who this bill is going to be helping, and we're so happy to be at this point in time to see the passage of the legislation, and the bill soon will be headed to the governor's desk. And these families that are going to get help from this expanded option in education, just seeing their faces and understanding the potential and future for these kids is all I'll ever need as a legislator when I look back on my career.
All right, Senator Brandon Creighton, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Public schools are not the only ones worried about ESAs. We investigate why some private schools say they're wary of strings that might be attached to taking taxpayer dollars. Texas Democrats try a new tactic after losing the vote on ESAs, why they're blocking votes on key legislation, and how it could shape the course of the session.